Good morning. Welcome to the first of many Mondo video blogs. You'll find more of my video blogs on homuncularo.com. I haven't done a few in a while. Some of them have concerned themselves with the practice of magic and in some of the ways that I practice magic. This morning's little diatribe will be more like one of my mini sermonettes. First of all, let us posit the reality, the truth, which may or may not have any absolute value, since in this universe we may see that in fact no absolute truths exist. On the converse, we have the dogma of anti-dogma, which gets laughable like all things along the absolutist line of thinking. Furthermore, let us further eschew dogmatism in its deterministic state, from which scientists will suffer, and then on the other hand, the fundamentalists will suffer as well. So we can see that believing and not believing, when free of dogma, may have some relative value, especially for the transcendentalist who needs more than his morning shit to get to that place that stimulates his right temporal lobe. We find everything along these lines laughable, humorous, and excusable, except when those who practice these things try to legislate this upon all of us and limit our freedom. Because after all, it does wind up getting in the realm of how free we can get, right? Furthermore, let us assert that we can free ourselves through our language, our writing, and our thinking by eliminating tenses of the verb to be. Now, many have argued with me along this, those with those classical philosophical educations, with logical and rational arguments, and those hold no more water than the folly-raw one would find in ridiculous fairy tales like the Bible. On another note, let us eschew the stupid philosophies and ideas and concepts and beliefs of those in the 12-step program when it comes to things along these realms. These folks are really fucked up. These folks have really lost their way when it comes to this kind of thinking, because after all, this whole thing about addiction and freeing oneself from something like addiction comes from rational, practical application rather than belief in a made-up God who very much resembles the old, cranky shit God that they had before. A God that plays tricks on them, a God that teaches them lessons, not the loving, caring God that the aforementioned inferred literature tries to purport. We know in our experience that no God as such exists, that the gods, the demons, all the deities, everything akin to this, comes out of our own mind, comes out of human consciousness, and that any effect it may have may come from the sentience that these, for the most part, mistakes have effected upon us. Finally, let's get down to the real godliness of things, which usually comes from the act of the creative process when it comes to sex. Yes, in our view, sex is the most holy act in the universe. In our view, the pleasure and the ecstasy expressing itself from sex has sacred import. A most holy function, sacred and profane at the same time, in that there are many negative consequences that can come, as well as many, many, many positive consequences which express themselves also. So we say that the only God comes from that exclamation, "Oh God," during the act itself. Now, finally, one last little tidbit on love. Now, love and unconditional love and all these wonderful, affectionate aphorisms that come from speaking about it remain ridiculous in the end. We know that love on a good day is contrived, like everything that comes out of the human mind, out of the human pen and out of the human mouth, love finds itself contrived, like everything else. Unconditional love, we think, may occur in brief, fleeting moments, and usually it's imperfect as well. So, we say that we created love, all of us, that we have our own individual interpretations about love, that love may consist of feelings of unconditional positive regard, or let's say conditional positive regard, and that love has this romantic component which is intimately involved, inescapably, from the process of sexual reproduction. Attraction comes from imprints. Imprints dictate the whole courtship and reproduction process. Now, that doesn't mean we can't have a lot of fun with this. We can and do have a lot of fun with all of this. So all that beautiful poetry, all those silly little songs, all the things that fire us up in this area have a great deal of meaning. Now, to those of you who are enjoying this, I say bravo. Those of you who are not, you won't tune in again. To those of you that have to have unconditional acceptance for your beliefs and views, I say lose yourself and you won't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks of you. So have a wonderful Mondo Sunday. Get it on, get it out, and get it down.